Hello and welcome to Dishin' with Dandy. I'm Neil Smith, the Dandy DJ from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, where we do drink everything out of a mason jar. Today, I would like to talk with you about some business strategy, and this is good not just for the mobile DJ, but this can apply across many different types of businesses. Matter of fact, in my opinion, I think it applies across all business and in just life strategy in general. And it's a concept called keeping your powder dry. Now, the definition of keep your powder dry, according to phrases.org, is be prepared and save your resources until they are needed. Now, we all have them. You know, our go-to songs to get the dance floor pumping, our key opening or closing point that gets a client interested or helps seal the deal to get you booked. Now, some special equipment that might save the day if something should go wrong, or a neat special effect during the event that makes everyone go wow, or just adds just a really nice touch. Over the course of time, however, you can build up several of these silver bullets over many aspects of your business. In our never-ending efforts to please, sometimes the tendency amongst those in our industry and other industries can be to pull out all the stops and totally blow them away right from the get-go. But the reality is that sometimes too much of a good thing really isn't. Kind of like a kid at Christmas. Everyone thinks kid at Christmas. Hey, the kids go nuts. They get all this stuff and they're just loving every second of it. Well, I got to tell you, that's not what I experienced last Christmas. I experienced something a little different, and our parents out there can probably relate to this, because I'm kind of reminded of watching my son Evan, who you sometimes see in my other videos if you look at the various things I build and publish my build videos of, or my reviews of different things. Well, it reminds me of watching him open his presents last year at Christmas. My wife and I, we did not overdo it. We just got him a few neat things, and we like to keep our focus on the reason for the season. You know what I'm talking about? But there still were gifts from Santa. Yes, we're Christians, and we still do Santa. We don't. We want to have fun with our kids, so it's cool. We got gifts from grandmothers, aunts, uncles, and friends, and we're quite blessed to have quite a few things for this kid to open. But we noticed something about halfway through the morning. As gifts kept being opened, and they just kept coming, they got less and less special no matter how cool they were. And we could see our boy slowly becoming, a little bit numb to it all. It just sort of started to become like, yeah, whatever. And which was sad, because some of this stuff was really cool. And I have to believe that this is what it's like for our clients and our prospective clients when we have a ton of awesome things that we can bless them and serve them with. But instead of tastefully picking and choosing what to present and when to present it, we just sort of vomit it all over them at once. It's overwhelming to them, and people don't like to be overwhelmed. It's uncomfortable, and often they're going to simply shut down. In other words, just because you have an entire arsenal of silver bullets doesn't mean you have to fire them all at once, or at all. The right opportunities for some of our awesome offerings, they simply might never present themselves with certain clients in certain settings, and that's okay. And we need to be okay with that. We don't need to be kicking ourselves after the event going, darn, I wish I could have done that. Now, I'm going to talk about keeping our powder dry in the sales process. Now, when I receive a bid request, or when any of us receive a bid request, I know we all want to wow them and let them know how much more we can do for them than the other guy down the street. But I've found my best success in keeping it simple. If I were to tell them every last thing I could do for them, along with every single requirement I have in order to strike a deal, and requirement means like, how much deposit, when the balance is due, if it's outdoors, what my requirements are, my electrical requirements are such and such, and it gets to be a bit much, and even they're all important, but they've all got their correct times and places to be presented and laid out on the table. And if I just laid everything out that I could do for them, every service I could provide for them, every way that I could make their event special, their eyes would start to glaze over. And I'm sure we've done that. We've all been there, sitting down with a client interviewing us for their event, and we start telling them all we can do, what all we offer, and they kind of, you sort of see their kind of face fall, and they sort of become disengaged and, start drifting off, and their eyes are glazing over, and they're basically saying, yeah, whatever, next. It doesn't mean you won't get hired, but you've kind of lost them at that point. Now, all this information, as I've said, it's important to be conveyed at some point, but it all doesn't need to be conveyed right now. What's more important is just to simply get the basics across at first and then expand as the relationship progresses. In other words, it's your first date. Don't try to hit a home run. You know what I mean? Another approach can be, if you're just emailing them over your bid or something like that, put the basic details at the top and say, if this sounds good to you and there's important information you need to make sure they have from the get-go, you say, hey, if this sounds good for you, this is just a summary. Look below for more for the finer details. And that's something I do a lot. And then when and if things progress further from there, you can discuss additional details in further detail. Now, when we're actually at the event, hey, I will admit it, I have no shame. I do mainly weddings and corporate events, and quite often when it's time to open the dance floor, my job is to get people up out of their seats and moving, and this is often after they've been seated for an extended period of time, getting stuffed with rich food and listening to people talk on the microphone, whether they be interesting or not. Especially at a corporate event, you've got to listen to people, the talking heads of the company, drone on and on. Our third quarter projections are shaping up to be, you know what I'm talking about. The people that get on the microphone are not always the most eloquent and or engaging, but they've still got their things they have to do, and the people still have to sit there and listen to them. Now, I know that in this situation, at least in my region, the cha-cha slide followed by the Cupid shuffle will get that dance floor up and moving 19 out of 20 times, as long as I physically get out there in the middle of the dance floor, start clapping my hands, and start doing the moves myself. Sometimes I'll be out there for 20, 30 seconds by myself, doing it by myself, looking like a fool, and then one or two people will come out and drift out, and then more and more and more is usually how it goes. And for that few seconds of looking like a fool, I end up with a packed dance floor, and that's my job. It's an almost surefire bullet in my gun, and yes, I abuse the heck out of it. Now, the hip-hop line dances, they work, but there's only a handful of them, at least ones that are instantly recognized and popular across a large demographic of people. And, what do you do once they're all used up? Well, you don't use them up all at once. You sprinkle one here, one there, or whatnot. And you keep your powder dry and pull the others out, strategically. Like when you see interest in the dance floor beginning to wane, you got the wobble, Macarena, electric slide, come on, ride the train, etc. Now, these could be different in your area, depending on where you're located. It could be the Mississippi Slide, whatever. And anyway, I also have key slow songs for when people begin to wear out from upbeat dancing. I have a handful that almost always bring the sweethearts out of the woodwork and fill that dance floor. But if I do more than a couple in a row, the dance floor is going to start emptying out. So I have some key mid-tempo songs and oldies, which kind of ease things back into the upbeat modern dancing. In other words, I don't blow my entire arsenal of instant floor fillers in the first 5 minutes, and I make sure to always have some left in reserve on standby that can carry me through the entire event or later into the night if needed be. Now, sometimes events end up ending early, and it happens, and most of the time has absolutely nothing to do with us, with the DJ. And that big effect I had waiting for the send-off, or those cool dance numbers I had reserved for the late night dancing, they might not ever get used, but that's okay, because as a pro, I can rest easy knowing that the client was well served and I was prepared for anything simply by keeping my powder dry. And that's about all I got to say on that. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Give me a subscribe if you're enjoying yourself. This is a conversation, not a one-way. So let me know below, and I'll kick it back and forth with you and all that good stuff. Anyway, I am Neil Smith of Dandy DJ and Photo Booth out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, located about a half hour south of Nashville. I serve a 5-hour radius of my location for weddings, family, church, and corporate events. Now, I'm also the author of a couple of books. One of them's called The Wedding DJ Bible, How to DJ the Wedding Like a Pro from Preparation to Grand Exit. Check that out at weddingdjbible.com. And also Pick a Perfect Wedding DJ. You find that at pickaperfectweddingdj.com. You go there and or just go to my website, dandydj.com, and you'll find the page for both of those. And there'll be, you can check them out. There are links where you can check them out on Amazon, Audible, iTunes, all that good stuff. Anyway, you stay dandy.